वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। ओम श्री महासरस्वत्यै नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। Hari Om and Namaskar to all of you. Can you all hear me at the back? I don't think you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly? Okay. Yesterday I had promised, by the way, how many of you were there yesterday? Okay, fine. So the rest of them who hadn't come. Yesterday I had promised that I would answer 3 questions. Because I wanted to talk on mind management today also and then talk on who am I. But then because the overall demand was in such a way that I said I would talk on 3 questions. Number 1, who am I? Number 2, who is God? And number 3, what is the mind? Yeah? So I'll take that up before we go into anything else. Now, all Vedantic discussions, with no exceptions, start with 2 fundamental questions. Question number 1. What is the goal of human life? And as we saw yesterday, the distinction between what is professional goal and the goal of life. It doesn't matter what you say, really. I remember a person who said, you know, the goal of my life is to become Miss Universe. There was someone else who said something very interesting. She said, if I can change my clothes and wear new clothes 3 times a day, I'll be happy. Nothing wrong. I mean, each one has their own idea, whatever they want. Some of them want to own, you know, the most fantastic car. I mean, that's a passion with a lot of men. So whatever be your goal, it doesn't matter what your goal is. The next question is, why do you want what you want? Today morning someone said, I want to live a normal life, whatever that normal meant. So next question was, why do you want to live a normal life, whatever you call normal? So I want to become a doctor and I want to serve society. Why do you want to serve society? So we find at the end of it, you keep on asking question and question and question, you will come to one answer, that I want to be happy. That makes me happy. Is it true or not? Happiness is something that every one of us, with no exception, want. From morning to night, from birth to death, every time, all the time, everywhere, all the places. Is it true or not? Why did you come here? Swamiji, to get knowledge. No one came here for knowledge, believe me. If yesterday you said you came for knowledge, but if I had given you knowledge in a very boring manner, believe me, you would not be here today. Is it true or not? If knowledge plus happiness, then it's okay. But knowledge minus happiness, I'm not interested. Agreed? So actually, what do you want? You want knowledge? No way. What do you want? If that knowledge gives you happiness, fine, I want it. But if it doesn't give you happiness, I don't want it. So what do you actually want? Happiness. Isn't it true? All of us. I asked one lady, I said, all of us want happiness, isn't it true? She says, no, I want to be unhappy. Unusual? I said, why do you want to be unhappy? She says, when I become unhappy and I have a sad story to tell, I tell my friends, my sad story, and then they sympathize and I become happy. You understand? So actually, what do you want? You only want to be happy. No exception. It doesn't matter from what background you come, whether rich or poor, whether old or young, whether man or woman, whether Hindu or Muslim, it doesn't matter at all. What religion, what caste, creed, community, nationality, it doesn't matter. All of us, with no exception, want to be happy. Is it true or not? So don't you think that's one common goal of all of us? You may say, I want to do this, I want to become this, I want to have this, but actually in and through all of that, what do you actually want? You want happiness. So do we have different goals, is my question. Or do we want happiness? That's your goal. Okay? So we all want to be happy. Okay? Now, do you want to be happy today, tomorrow, or day after? Simple question. You don't. Can I have an answer, please? Every day? Every moment? Now, do you want to be happy here or back in your hostel or your home or wherever? You want to be happy here, there, and everywhere. You want to be happy now, then, and all the time. Is it true or not? So, what do you actually want? Now, all of us, none of us sitting over here can ever say that I have never been happy. Can you say that? I want answers, please. Can you say that I have never been happy? No. All of us, with no exception, have been happy. Now, if you have been happy, you have got happiness, you know happiness, why do you want to be happy again? You already got your happiness. Then why do we want to be happy? Maybe we have not got the type of happiness that we want, and that is why we are trying to be happy again and again. Is it true or not? I'm searching for something and I found it. Then what will I do? Stop searching. Have you understood? If I'm searching for something and I found it, I'm searching for my watch. Where is it? Where is this? Okay, I found it. Now I don't keep searching for it. Why? Because I have found it. Happiness is something that all of us, with no exception, have experienced, have found, and yet we keep searching. Okay? So now the question is, what type of happiness am I searching for? Next question. I have got the happiness. So the next question is, and still I keep searching. Maybe it's not the happiness that I'm searching for. What I have got is not what I'm searching for. Are you with me? Are we going step by step? Can I have a... something, I was really very mischievous in school and college, extremely. And I invented ways in which to disturb my teachers. A lot of us can do that, and I did it, and very successfully, if I may say. And one of the things I found, and we used to do it as a gang, when we were in school actually, is that when the teacher is asking anything or saying anything, have absolutely no expression in your face. And I tell you, the best of teacher can get completely, nervous. Try it out if you want. I'd rather you don't. They do that? And if they do that, I tell you, the best of teacher will say, I don't know what's wrong. Something is wrong. So please don't try that trick on me, okay? Have some expressions, maybe a question mark, maybe, you don't understand, maybe you understand, maybe you're skeptic, that's okay. But don't look at me like that, okay? And I've tried it, it works. So therefore, please answer if you can. As I told you, it prevents, all of you from sleeping. So we find that all of us have had experienced happiness, and yet we are looking for happiness. Our search for happiness has not ended, even though we've experienced it. So why should we be searching for it? Maybe the type of experience that we want, we've not found that. Then the question comes, what is the type of happiness that I want? What is the type of happiness that I'm looking for all the time? And then we come to this conclusion, and again, this is no exception. It doesn't matter which background you are, whether you believe in God, you don't believe in God, it doesn't matter anything. Who you are, from where you've come, it doesn't matter. All of us want eternal happiness. We want to be happy forever. Is it true or not? We want to be happy forever. Okay, in this particular place, there is this much of happiness, okay? Just giving it for the sake of, you can't measure it as this much or that much, but this is for the sake of understanding. In this particular place, there is this much of happiness. Down the road, there's another place where there's this much of happiness. Where will you go? I won't feel bad. Where will you go? Of course there. Who's going to sit here? Here it's only so much. There it's so much. All of us, again, with no exception, want unlimited happiness. We don't want any limit to our happiness. No one has ever in this world ever said, "Bas ho gaya, I can't take this happiness anymore." Has anyone ever had this experience? I can't handle so much happiness. Enough is enough. Anyone? Itna happiness? Baba re, I'm burdened with happiness. Anyone? No one. But with unhappiness, I can't take it anymore. I can't bear it anymore. Is it true or not? So you don't want any limit to your happiness. You will never say, "Bas ho gaya, abhi mere ko koi happiness nahi chahiye." You will never say that. No one will ever say that. If you get a higher happiness, if you get a better happiness, if you get more happiness, you will go there. Full stop. You can't say, "Nahi, it's okay if it's there." You will definitely go there, because all of us want maximum possible happiness. We want no limit to our happiness, and therefore we want infinite happiness. So what is the type of happiness that we want? Eternal and infinite happiness. And that is why any fairy story, when we were kids, we listened to fairy stories. And what is the type of fairy stories? They say, "And the king and the queen lived happily." Have you ever heard of a story where they say the king and the queen lived happily for 1 week? It'll be a sad story. It won't be a happy story. Got it? So all of us want what? Eternal and infinite. Now don't just say, now in future, whenever anyone asks you the question, what do you want in life? I want what? Eternal and infinite happiness. Okay? And that's what you actually want. You think for yourself about it, what I'm saying. You don't have to accept it just because I said it. You can think about it yourself independently. Now, can you imagine from birth to death, morning to night, all of us, no exception, billions of people in this world are looking for that same thing? Now just imagine, just think about this. It's a very amazing even thought. Millions, billions, in the past, in the present, and in the future, will be looking for what? One thing. And what is that? Not happiness, 1 minute, 1 minute. What? Eternal and infinite. Can you imagine? Just the thought that everyone, you think someone is going there, someone is going there, someone is doing this, someone is doing this, someone is eating, someone is sleeping, someone is whatever. And everyone is seeking what? In and through everything that they are doing, what are they seeking? Same thing. What? Eternal and infinite happiness. What an amazing fact. One goal. Innumerable people. Completely different backgrounds. A universal single goal. Yeah? Now, don't you think logically that when billions of people are searching for the same thing, we should have found it by now? Think about it. In this room, supposing someone lost their ring, and all of us put efforts to find it, don't you think we would be able to find it? Yes? All of us are looking for it. And Millions of us, all the time looking for it, and we still seem to be looking and looking and looking, and we're not able to find what we want. We are finding happiness. I'm not saying we are not finding happiness, but we are not finding what? Eternal and infinite. That's why our search continues. It's like that. You go to the market, and I'm looking for, let's say, a particular type of soap. So I go there and I ask, do you have this soap? So they say, stock khalas ho gaya. So I come back again, they'll say, ek hafte mein aayega. So after a week I go back again, and then I ask them, what happened? Did you get the soap? It says, nahi aaya hai. Strike hai trucks ki. 2 hafte mein aa jayega. So I go back again. After 2 weeks, I keep going and going and going, but I don't get the... Now, does that mean I don't use soap till that time? I will use soap, but I'm not got what I wanted. Till I get what I wanted, I will keep looking for it. Is it okay? I know so many people who don't get married till God alone knows when, saying, I haven't found the... Come on. Haven't you heard that? The Mr. Right or Miss Right or whatever. So you keep looking. Till that time you have friends and all that, that's okay. But you want what? You keep looking. Similarly, it's not that I'm not getting joy, I'm unhappy, it's not that I'm not getting happiness. But what is the happiness that I actually want in life? Eternal and infinite. Now, I'll tell you a little story. In the good old days, in a small little village, there was an old woman who was searching for something in her veranda. She's elderly and she's looking around, so the people of the village are very helpful on the whole. So they ask, what are you looking for? You say, I've lost my needle. So they say, okay, I'll help you to search for it. So 1 or 2 people started searching and they couldn't find it. And then they asked her, what happened? How did you lose your needle? He says, early in the morning, good old days, no electricity. I was sitting in my house, I had a lamp and I was stitching something and the needle fell away. So he says, where did it fall? It fell in the house. Then why are you searching in the veranda? He says, because abhi dhoop nikli hai na, to yahan achhi tarah se deekh sakta hai. Now if this old lady and a lot of other people also, from morning to night, from birth to death, keep looking in the veranda outside for that needle, will they find it? Why? Because it's not outside, it's where? Inside. Maybe the place we are looking for is wrong. Maybe. Is it okay? I'm not saying it is, okay? You have to think for yourself. All of us must think. Maybe where we are searching is wrong. Maybe. Now let's see where we are searching. What are we searching? Happiness in things, in beings, in situations and circumstances. Is it true or not? Where are we searching for happiness? In things and beings and situations and different type of... That's where we are searching, all of us. No exception. Now, a thing or a being or a situation by its very nature is finite. Is it true or not? It's conditioned by time. When the thing itself is conditioned by time, the thing is finite. Can a finite thing give you infinite and eternal happiness? When itself is eternal, is not eternal and not infinite. Are you understanding? It's not that it cannot give you happiness, please. But it cannot give you what? Eternal and what are you looking for? I am looking, my demand is for what? You know, that's why when they go on strike, they say, Hamari mange, puri karo. Have you heard that? Hamari mange, puri karo. No employer till date has ever been able to satisfy an employee completely. Why? Because you give a little bit, they say, I'm very happy, very happy. After a little time, Hamari mange? Are you with me so far? So now, the question is, where am I looking for happiness? Let's do a little small experiment. Think together about it. See, sugar by its very nature is sweet. Isn't it true? So if you eat sugar in the morning, how will it taste? Afternoon? Night? 5 times? 25 times? In America? Over here? Middle of the night? You get the point. Irrespective of where I eat it, when I eat it, how many times I eat it, it will be sweet. Why? Because that's the very nature of sugar. Sugar is sweet by nature. Now the question is, any object in the world, any circumstance in the world, any being in the world, is it by nature happiness? And if it has happiness as its very nature, then I should get happiness from that object or being or circumstance anytime, every time, all the time. Is that understood? Because that's its very nature. It can't change its nature. Nature is that without which it cannot live. Is it okay? Am I making sense so far? Can I have a little... It takes very little time, effort to just do this much or say yes. Can I have some response? Because I want to know whether you're in Jagrat, Swapna or Shushupti, which avastha you are in. Fine, wonderful. Now, so if you have realized that a thing by its nature, if it is happiness, I should get it anytime and every time. Now we'll just take, it's like when you put rice for cooking. Okay? How do you know that the rice is cooked? What do you do when you want to know that the rice is cooked? What do? You take one grain of it and if that is cooked, then you say the whole of it is cooked. You don't go and press each grain, ki ho gaya ki nahi ho gaya. You just take one of it and then you say, हाँ हो गया. हर कैसे पता चला कि वो पूरा हो गया? नहीं, एक हो गया तो? Is it okay? So we are going to take one object of the world and find out. Is it by nature happiness? And if it is, then maybe everything has. And if it is not, then maybe it doesn't. Is it okay? And always an eating thing is always a very easy thing to understand. Yahan, what is the favorite thing over here? What do people like eating wise? Because हर जगह की अलग-अलग चीज़ होती है. Laddu? Okay, maybe she likes laddu. Everyone laddu? Not everyone is a laddu person. A lot of young people are there. I think maybe ice creams and chocolates are more like it. At your age, laddu, it becomes, but not their age. I think ice creams and chocolates are more it. Okay, fine. Pastries or cakes or whatever. Chocolate mousse, okay. You still will go for a laddu, but doesn't matter. I'll go by what the majority would like. So now we take chocolate mousse. There. Or cheesecake or whatever you like. So now you have this. Now, you take the first piece of cheesecake. Wow. Brahmananda. You take the second piece. Nothing like it. The third piece, oh, fantastic. Fourth, you still have, young people, they can eat a lot. And you have the fifth, and the sixth, and the seventh, and the 20th. Some people have good capacity. The 21st. कल खाऊंगा. No. 22nd. अच्छा. 23rd. And the 25th can become a positive source of unhappiness. Is it true or not? But if it was by nature happiness, even the 25th piece would become what? Someone wakes you up at 3 in the night. You all sleep at 3 in the night, okay. So someone wakes you up at 7 in the morning, which is for you equal to 3 in the night. So someone, wake up, cheesecake. Who the hell do you think you are? You want to be happy, right? At that time of the night also you want to be happy, right? Cheesecake. If that had happiness, you would just love that. Why? Because it will make you happy. You get my point. And there might be some people over here, the very thought of cheese, they may be, what is it called, lactose intolerant. And cheese ka naam sunte, allergy comes out. You understand? So if happiness was the nature, and in the place of cheesecake, put anything, being, circumstance, anything, what will happen? It is not of the nature of happiness. Now, if the objects of the world are not the nature of happiness, there are only two entities. One is I, the experiencer of the world, and the other is what? The experienced world. If happiness is not the nature of the world and the objects of the world and the beings and things of the world, then by the law of remainder, what will be the nature of happiness? I. You understand? Which brings us to the second question that we had, and very, very important question, who am I? Unfortunately, this is such an important question and no one even asked it. And normally if you go, just down the road, any of the young people around here, you ask them, who am I? You say, ye pagal ho gaya hai. The nearest mad hospital mein usko, is it true or not? You don't know who you are. What are you talking? If you tell anyone, ask, who am I? They will say what? Something is wrong with you. Isn't it true? But you do need to ask, who am I? We've taken so many things for granted, and therefore we need to ask this question. I'll complete this logic and then we'll go to more explanation of who am I. So I am looking for eternal and infinite happiness. It's not the nature of the objects of the world, so therefore it should be the nature of I, the subject, who is the experiencer of the world. So the answer to that is, to the question who am I, is I am eternal and infinite happiness. Look, you may be listening, you may not agree, it may be too this an idea, but I just want you to think. I'm not saying you have to accept everything I speak just because I am a Swami and I'm telling you, I'm not saying that. But I want you all to think with an open mind, please. Thinking with an open mind is what? Not having already concluded everything and say, okay, let me see. Then that's not an open mind. Thinking with an open mind is, maybe it's right. I don't know. Are you understanding that? Can you all do that? At least listen with an open mind? Yeah? Otherwise we already say, I know. Try. Chalo, dekhte hain? Aise to bahut dekhe. Ek aur. Then you're not listening with them. And the most important thing, especially for young people, is to have an open mind. If young people will not have an open mind, who's going to have an open mind? You understand? And I tell you, we are so many times I find young people more prejudiced and more closed than even old people. And sometimes it's shocking. I say, how can you be young and be like that? As you grow old, you become closed. You can't be young and be closed-minded. Are you understanding? You can't go around the world with a prejudiced mind and blocked mind, saying, this is something I don't even want to hear. Hurry. So can you all listen with an open mind, please? Yes? Just give it a thought. I'm not saying you have to accept it. You don't have to accept it if it doesn't appeal to you, but at least listen with an open mind. It could be right, it could be wrong, but it could be right also. That's also a chance, okay? Fine. Now if you say the world is not by nature, what? eternal and infinite happiness, then I must be of the nature of eternal and infinite happiness. So, who am I? I am eternal and infinite happiness. Now comes a very interesting thing. Please think. Question 1. What is the goal of human life? Answer: eternal and infinite happiness. Question 2. Who am I? Answer: eternal and infinite happiness. Now put these two together and what do you get? Very interesting. The question was, what is the goal of human life? Eternal and infinite happiness. Who am I? Eternal and infinite happiness. Put these two together, what do you get? Yes, it's a very important. You keep this sentence, you don't have to believe it, you don't have to, but think of it. Just keep it with you. I am who I search for. I am what I search for. I already am what I'm searching for. You understand? But what am I doing? I'm searching. Where? Anywhere else except where I am. Okay? Now, that's why we don't seem to find it. Now comes this a little more thinking of who am I? We have so much taken for granted that I am. When I ask someone, who are you? So you give me a name. Is it true or not? What do you give me as an answer? Who are you? Manoj. Okay? Whoever. Manoj. Now Manoj is a name given to an object. Is it true or not? It's given to a form. For example, when I say this is a watch, watch is a name given to this form. Agreed? This thing is not watch as a name. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Yes? There is a form and there is a name given to this form. So Manoj is a name given to you after you were born, right or wrong? Unless you were born in America. They give a name before the person is born. They say if it's a boy, this is the name. They have to register 2 names. Are you aware of that? And if it's a girl, then there is no question of nakshatra and tithi and all that, your name. Because what to do? You don't know what nakshatra you're going to be born in and all that. So you have to give a name, a boy's name and a girl's name, both. Most of them even know beforehand it's a boy or a girl. So then they know, I want to give John or whatever, XYZ. So beforehand they say. But normally what happens, but still the form is here and then the name is given. Is it true or not? So you have a form, many times, in the good old days, when they had a child, they didn't give a name at all. Only when the second one is born, saying, "Arey, ye to Baba, Baba, now Baba too, you can't say." So then they say, "Arey, usko naam dena padega re." Because ek Baba ho gaya, abhi dusra. It actually happened, hota tha na, aise hota tha. So anyway, so then there is a form and what happens? There is a name given to the form. So are you a name? Come on. So you're the form, okay, fine. So you're a form, you say you are this body, right? When you say I am fat, I am thin, I am tall, I am fair, what do you mean? You're actually saying I am this body. Is it true or not? When I say that I am fat, what actually you mean? That I am the body. You're actually saying that only, that I am the body. When you say I'm fair, I'm tall or whatever, I'm saying what? I am the body. That's what I'm saying, declaring. Right. Now the question comes. Am I the body is the question. Am I the body? Now, interesting. Sometimes you say I'm very sad, I'm mad, I'm bad, I'm glad, whatever. Now, when you're talking about all this, I am this, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the body? Is the body glad? Is the body mad? Is the body sad? What are you talking about? You're talking about the mind. And you have identified with the mind and say, I am sad, mad, glad, right? Now, are you one or are you many? So decide, are you sad or are you fat? Are you getting the point? When the I identifies with the body, I say I am fat. When the I identifies with the mind, it says I am glad. Have you understood that? So there is a I that is identifying with the body. There is an I which is identifying with the mind. Is that okay? So ask the question, who is this I? Who am I? There is an I? Undoubtedly so. Yeah. So who is this I? No, Swamiji, I am the body. What are you talking? You know, when something hurts over here, मुझे दुखता है. आपको थोड़ा ही कुछ होता है. मुझे दुखता है. Isn't it true? It hurts when someone hurts me here. I hurt. Isn't it true? So how can I say I'm not the body? Now it's very interesting. When my mind is knocked out, you can do whatever you want to my body and nothing happens, right or wrong? When they give me anesthesia, what happens? You're doing whatever you want to the body and I don't say I'm hurting. Why? If you are the body, you should hurt, right or wrong? Because you're doing something to the body and I'm the body, so I should hurt. So the question comes, who am I again? I hope I'm just making you think, that's all. Whether you come to a conclusion or not is not the point, it's the questioning. What we've taken so much for granted, we are questioning, that's all. Okay? Now, there's a plate of food. Wonderful feast. Rotis and sabji and dal and chawal and sweet dishes and, you know, you name all your favorite dishes, everything is there. Now I take a piece of the roti and I put it in the sabji, and then there's achar also, a little of the achar. Then there's papad also, I take a piece of the papad, put it on this whole thing. Now the food in the plate, is that me? Is the question. Is the food in the plate me? Come on, simple question. Are you sure? Absolutely sure? Now I take a morsel of that food. Is this morsel me? Yes or no? Absolutely sure? I put that morsel in my mouth. That food in the mouth, is it me? Are you sure? Then the food goes in. Sometimes it comes out. Now if it comes out, is that me? Swamiji, how can that be me? Are you sure? Yes. Okay. And in the stomach, the food in the stomach, is that me? Because sometimes it comes out, I told you. Okay. That goes through a process of digestion that all of you are very aware of. And then the next morning, it goes out of our system. Isn't it? Is that you? My God, Swamiji, I never thought you will talk such stuff. Is that you? Is the question. Is that you? Are you sure? Are you sure? Yeah? It's not you? 100%? Interesting. The food in the plate is not you. The food in the hand is not you. The food in the mouth is not you. The food in your gullet is not you. The food in your stomach is not you. The food in your intestine is not you. The food that comes out is not you. And the food, that same food becomes that blood and that bone. How can that be you? This is only one more modification of food. How can that be you? It's not logical. It's just one more modification. One thing came out, that's not me. One thing became blood, that's me. How? What logic? When all its modification it was going through, none of it was me. It became blood, it's me. How? Through what logic? Okay. You know, all of you, all of us, every 7 years, every cell of our body except the brain cells die. You're all aware of that? You have a completely new body from head to toe, every cell being replaced. Every 7 years, except the brain cells. Now please tell me, which cells are you? Right now as you sit and listen to this, there are hundreds of cells dying as of now. So many more are being born as of now. Which ones are you? The ones that are dying is you, the ones that are born are you. Which one is you? You say, this is me, right? Solid me. Which one is he? So now we come, are you all ready to do a little bit of thinking which is ready, everyone? I'll need a lot of your attention. I'll need you all to answer as well. This is something really fantastic. If it comes home, it's wonderful. It doesn't go home, perfectly okay. No problem. You can just, you know. And I always believe that if you've understood something, then that's your knowledge. If you didn't understand, it was not meant for you any which way. I'm convinced about this. I'm not saying you don't try. Try. And if you get it, it's good. If you don't, and it's very simple. Actually, it's so simple. It's so logical, it's so simple. There are two principles by which we do what we call, I said, no, yesterday only I said, we have a very, very fantastic faculty given by Bhagwan, which is called Viveka Shakti. Remember yesterday we talked about? And in that we talked about Sadhan Sadhya Vivek. There's another type of Vivek which is only unique, only human beings can do, animals can't do. And this is what I'm going to make you all do. It's a higher order of Vivek. Sadhan Sadhya Vivek is a simple, ordinary type of Vivek, but the type of Vivek that I'm going to make you do is a really higher order of Vivek, which is something which is of a very spiritual nature, and this is what Vedantis do. One of this is called Drashta Drishya Vivek. I want all of you to do it with me. Two principles. Number one, the drashta is different from the drishya. The seer is different from the seen. The knower is different from the known. What is this? Watch. I know the watch. I am not the watch. Is it okay? The knower is different from the known. Simple. The knower knows the known, but the known cannot know the knower. Is it okay? One more. What? The knower knows the known, but the known cannot know. Two principles. We won't go into more of them, just two. Which are the two? Seer is different from the seen. Second, the seer can see the seen, but the seen cannot see the seer. Okay, shall we all go ahead? Right. Now, how do you know that there is a watch? This is a watch, is a knowledge that happened. It's the known, right? How do you know that? Swamiji, I'm seeing it. I can see it. Okay, so the eyes see the watch. The eyes are the seer and the watch is the seen. The eyes can see the watch, but the watch cannot see the eyes. Never. The watch will never ever know. You can keep doing as much as you want over here, but the watch will never know that the eyes are seeing it. Is it true or not? So, we can use this word, the watch, the eyes are beyond the purview of the watch. I use the word beyond? Yeah? You will understand the meaning of the word beyond now? That the eyes are beyond the purview of the watch. Is it okay? Now we go. How do you know that the eyes see the watch? Swamiji, such a simple question. You may be confused about it, but not me. How do you know that the watch? My mind is there. I'm telling you, if your mind is not behind your eyes, you cannot see anything. Is it true or not? इसलिए जब एक्सीडेंट होता है तो सामने वाला क्या बोलता है? अरे आँख खोल के चलाओ. तो आँख तो खुली होती है, लेकिन mind is somewhere else, isn't it? The person passes in front of you, but if your mind is somewhere else, you don't see the person. Is it true or not? So therefore, the mind knows what the eyes see. Is it true or not? So the mind is the seer or the knower, and the eyes are the seen or the known. You know that I can't see well. Who knows that you can't see well? Who knows that you can't see well? Not the eyes, but the mind. Agreed? So eyes know, and the mind knows what the eyes see. The mind is different from the eyes. The seer is different from the seen. The seer can see the seen, but the seen cannot know the seer. The mind knows what the eyes see, but the eyes can never know what the mind thinks. Have you understood this? Anyone's mind. Eyes have never seen the mind. No one's eyes. Right or wrong? Now, let's go a little further. So far it is okay. How do you know what the mind knows through the eyes? Let me say it differently. Who knows the mind? Okay, let me talk of it differently. Did you understand what I spoke? Simple question. And you can feel free to say no also. No. Very good. Did you understand? No, I didn't understand. Do you know that you didn't understand? I know I didn't understand. Wonderful. Do you know you didn't understand? Of course I know. If you ask me more, I'll get irritated. I know what? I understood. I know I didn't understand. Both of that you know or you don't know? I know my knowledge, I know my ignorance. Yes or no? I know the thoughts of my mind. I'm getting angry. Who knows? I know. I'm getting angry. I'm not understanding. I'm confused. Whatever it is, I know the thoughts of my mind. Is it true or not? Yes? Now, the knower is different from the I know my mind. I is different from my mind. I know my mind, but my mind can never know. There is an I which is beyond the mind. There's a mind which is beyond the eyes. There's the eyes which is beyond the objects. There's an I which is beyond the objects, the eyes and the mind. That I am. And now what are we trying to do? Grasp this I with our mind. All of you, right now. Yes or no? अरे बुद्धि के पल्ले नहीं पड़ता, नेचुरली पल्ले नहीं पड़ता, क्योंकि क्या है? बुद्धि के. Have you understood? So who am I? I don't believe in God. Wonderful. Who doesn't believe in God? I. Which I? Ramana Maharshi used to do that way. Someone will come and say, you know, I have a problem. My son. So Ramana Maharshi said, 1 minute. Your son is a problem? Yes, my 1 minute. Whose son? My son. First ask, who am I? Then we will come to the son. First ask, who am I? He would go to that, you know, Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi, very, very great saint. I don't know how many of you have heard of him? Quite a few of you? Yeah, very great. So he would go to that. He says, go to the fundamental. Who am I? So there is an I which is beyond the mind. Now, all finitude in the world is in the mind. Isn't it true? Time, space, objects, every experience that you can ever think of You are experiencing it through the mind. Yes or no? Every possible conceivable, whether it is science or your field of engineering or psychology or any field, whatever name you want to give it, it is all experienced and understood and experimented here, right or wrong? And what are we talking about? Beyond. Have you all understood that? So when you say, I don't believe in God, and you say, and you make it into a concept of your mind, and then you say, I don't believe in that God, we say, even I don't believe in that God. Have you understood? For us, who is this God? He's infinite. Why? Because he's not limited by even a touch of any thought. He's beyond time, he's beyond space, he's beyond objects. That is the God that we believe in. Are you understanding what I'm speaking? Yes? That I. So where is God? Where is God? If he's beyond time, he's everywhere. Remember that. If he's beyond space, he's everywhere. If he's beyond time, he's all the time. If he's beyond objects, he's in every object. That God, which is infinite, is available here as I. Have you understood this now? God is everywhere, but he's available here as my very I. Is it okay? Yes. Electricity is there in all the wires, but it is available in a particular place where there's a filament, etc. You understand? It's where there's a socket, where there's something. That's where it's available for experiencing. So God is infinite, is everywhere. So where do I contact him? Contact him here as your very I. Is it understood? So when someone says, I don't believe in God, we first ask, which is that God that you don't believe in? For most of the time, it's always a concept of God. Now, there is another thing, which leads me to something. Do you want to talk? Because I find, I've been discussing with some of you, and I find that faith is something we have understood very little about. I want all of you to understand this thing about, when people talk faith and this, that, we haven't understood a few things, basic things about knowledge. Okay, swimming. Can you learn swimming the way you learn history? Come on, you have to answer these questions. Can you learn swimming the way you learn history? No? Does that make swimming illogical? And the way you learn swimming is very different. It's a skill. All skills are learned by practice. Is it true or not? That's the way to learn a skill. Any skill. Now, poetry is understood or appreciated very differently from science. Is it true or not? Does that make you cannot understand poetry by experimentation and logic? Can you? You can ruin a poetry by that. But you cannot understand the beauty of a poem just by experiment. Does that make poetry illogical and unscientific? Come on. Just because you cannot know it through science, does it make it illogical and unscientific? I hope you're understanding what I'm speaking. Each field of knowledge is known by a different means of knowledge. Is that okay? The means of understanding history is different. The means of understanding science is different. Science you can repeat an experiment. Can we say history also repeat World War II? Then only I will believe. You can't repeat it. That doesn't mean it's scientific. It is useless. It is nonsense. Come on. Its way of understanding is completely different. I hope you appreciate what I'm speaking. So each field of knowledge has to be known in its own particular way. Then only you can get knowledge of that. You can't know it. Everything in the world cannot be known in scientific language and knowledge. That doesn't mean it is unscientific or illogical. Is that understood? So the Atma, which is beyond the mind, if you want to understand it as an object of experimentation, it's not available like that. That doesn't mean it is unscientific or illogical. Have you understood? Your expecting it to be available as an object is unscientific and illogical. Have you understood this point? Yes or no? It's very illogical to think that you can, swimming should be learned the way science should be learned. Huh? What are you talking? Got it? That is why when I say, if I don't see it, I don't believe. Ayya, Rama, do you see the beauty of poetry with your eyes? Bolo. Do you see it with your eyes? Okay, even space. Have you ever, any one of us, have we ever seen space? With your eyes, have you seen space? Come on. No, Swamiji, I'm seeing, you are not seeing space. Believe me, you are seeing only objects. Is it true or not? You have never seen space. You have never touched space. I'm not touching space at all. Can I touch space? Is it a thing that I can touch? Have I smelt space? What am I smelling? I'm smelling air. I'm not smelling space. Is it okay? I have never touched space. I have never seen space. I have never tasted space. Are you understanding? It's not available to my senses, and yet I know space is. Why? Because I'm accommodated, full stop. So it is known not through my senses, but its quality of accommodating, and I see I'm accommodated, there must be space. Are you understanding that? So just to say that I don't believe because is illogical. And the way of knowing it is different. It cannot be known the way I know other things in the world. And if I expect to know it that way, then that is unscientific and illogical. Is that understood? Now let me talk a little bit about faith. I know, the minute I say faith, everyone's going to react, lots of things are going to happen in your minds and all that. Now I ask you a question. Do you have faith that you have a nose on your face? Yes? You have faith? Do you have faith that you have a nose on your face? Please answer. Yes? I ask you again. Faith? You have faith that you have a nose on your face? Do you have faith? Do you need faith to know that you have a nose on your face? Yes. It is, you don't have faith, you know. Is it okay? Right? You know that you have a nose on your face. You don't have to have faith to know. Because you know, it is there, I can touch it, I can, whatever, right? So I don't need faith. When there is knowledge, faith is not needed. Is it okay? So when is faith needed? When there is no knowledge, that's when faith is needed. Is that understood? It's a crazy thing. We said, if I don't know, how can I believe? Are Rama, because you don't know, you have to believe. Have you understood that? Because if you knew you did not need, you won't need faith. This is very funny. See, the logic is not understood. We make statements and we think we are so logical and so smart. And first I have to know, then only. First I have to see God, then I will believe. Are Rama, if you see God, you will not need what? Faith. Because you would have already seen. You say, I know. Got it? So we are putting the horse before the cart. अरे ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? इसलिए गीता में कहा श्रद्धावान लभते ज्ञानम. श्रद्धा पहले आती है, बाद में ज्ञान आता है. नॉट पहले ज्ञान आता है, बाद में श्रद्धा. अगर ज्ञान हो गया तो फिर श्रद्धा की आवश्यकता ही नहीं है. You don't need faith after that. Is that understood? First of all, this basic misunderstanding of what is faith itself, we don't know. Then there is this other thing which everyone says, and blind faith. I don't know, blind faith, blind faith. And I tell you, and I find people in IIT more like that. I'm talking, everyone's, you're almost traumatized by the thought of having blind faith. And we don't know how much of blind faith each one of us, the so-called intellectual and the so-called this, how much of blind faith we are living with. I know, unless I question everything, I will not believe. I question everything, then only I believe. Arey Rama, you don't know how many things you just believe like that with absolutely zero questioning. And you're living your life happily without that. And I'll tell you one thing that will shock you. You have complete blind faith that your parents are your parents. You have no proof. Have you ever asked? DNA test karo. ये मेरी माँ है कि नहीं, ये मेरे पिताजी है कि नहीं. What proof do you have, my dear, that your father is your father and your mother is your mother? Have you questioned? Because you don't believe anything without questioning. Will you dare to question? जा माँ को जाके पूछ. I want to do your DNA. Are you understanding what I am speaking? Because many times we say, ये सब आप blind belief है, रामा है कि नहीं, कृष्णा है कि नहीं, blind belief. मैं तो Is it okay? Shraddhavan labhate jnana. What does faith do? Faith makes your mind open. Faith makes your mind open. That's what faith does. Faith doesn't stop thinking. Please understand that. My guru had a beautiful definition of faith. He said it is belief pending inquiry. I believe in what I this, and then when I think and inquire, I come to know what I believe in. Have you understood that? But it starts with what? Belief. Ends with what? Knowledge. Have you understood that? But if I'm not even going to accept its existence, how am I going to know it? I'm not going to even believe that it can exist, a possibility. Then I'm closing myself. There's no question of me knowing it ever, anytime. Why go with the belief that there is a cure for XYZ disease and then I start working? If I had no belief, would I even start working? And that is why belief is so important for me to continue my thinking, continue action. Without belief, neither an action nor knowledge or inquiry is possible. Are you understanding what I'm speaking? Person who's already some conclusion, he's closed himself, then there's no question, you can't open that mind at all. Nothing new can happen. But if he's an open mind, he inquires and he finds out, maybe, I don't know, there's a chance, yeah, let me think. Are you understanding? So therefore, who am I? Vedanta says, I am that eternal and infinite happiness. I am what I am looking for. Who is God? He is that eternal and infinite happiness. In the language of philosophy, he is called the truth. In the language of religion, he is called God. Have you understood? The same truth in the language of religion is called God. In the language of philosophy is called the truth. Okay? Our problem again comes when we say, I don't have faith that the God has a form. That same formless truth can take any form, does take any form, all the forms, anytime, all the time. So what does Vedanta say? That same formless, nameless, qualityless entity can take any form, all the forms, every form. Is that okay? So what does Vedanta believe? God is formless, but he has what? He takes many forms and he has many names. So how many gods do we believe in? One God. How many forms? Many forms. This is our. Okay, I think our time is up. "15 minutes for questions." Yes, let her first, yeah?
It's my first one. My question is, if I am the eternal and unapproachable happiness, and I know that, what am I searching for?
Then all search ends. If I know it and realize it, then all search ends. But I don't know it. That's why the search continues. I say I know it, but I really don't know it. I know it intellectually, not as an experience. Yes. Just pass on the mic.
I want to ask that I see the world through my eyes, but I cannot see my eyes itself. So can I tell the same concept of myself that I cannot find myself, I cannot experience myself until there is a world. So is it true like this negation was that I am seeing the world through my eyes, but my eyes cannot see themselves?
My eyes cannot see themselves. Very true. You have never seen your eyes, ever. You have only seen a reflection of your eyes. You've never ever seen your eyes. None of us have seen our eyes. We've only seen a reflection of our eyes. We've never seen our eyes.
So can I have the same concept in myself that I can only realize myself through the reflection of myself from the world? And if it is true, then everything in the world is limited, and I am finite. So how can the finite reflect infinite things? So how can I really realize this?
Good question. Very good question. In fact, the sun and all the reflections that are there there are innumerable reflections. The reflections are always very small compared to the sun. There can be no comparison between a reflection and the sun, isn't it? But the reflection shows the existence of a sun. So that's the purpose of the world. The world proves the existence of an eye. Okay? The very existence of the world proves the existence of this eye. That's the thing. Now, how do I know the eye when all these mind and all these layers go away? The sun doesn't need anything to know itself. It's self-illuminating. It doesn't need something else to know it. But the reflections give us an idea, an anuman, an inference of the existence of the sun. But finally, the sun doesn't need anything to know itself. Then you'll have to drop all the layers of the mind and everything, and then be what you actually are. That's what is called self-realization, etc., etc. All these different names are given like that. Yes.
Everybody wants a data that can make happiness. Should that be the goal?
That should be nahi hai. Ab kya kare? Even if you don't want, tomorrow you say, no, I'm not going to ask for eternal and infinite happiness. You will. It is not should be, it is. It's not, I hope you're understanding that. You can't help but want eternal and infinite happiness. There's no choice for you. Yes?
Why are we here? Because why are we here?
To find that. You find out. You find that. Huh? You are here to get that eternal infinite happiness.
Why are we in the first place? Why are we here?
So that we can become happy and not ask questions like that. Yes. Yes.
My sense is that happiness is a very volatile thing. It's like even if something sad happened, I need to be sad for that for next second again. I can be happy after some few hours, but satisfaction of fulfillment is the ultimate thing, which cannot be gained all by or which cannot get just by switching your mind. So, how do you see the difference between eternal happiness and the real fulfillment?
Yeah. See, Sukha and dukkha as thoughts of the mind are very fleeting. They come and go. That's not what I'm talking about as eternal happiness. As thoughts of the mind which come and go, they are very fleeting. And they are so conditioned by so many things that you can't. For example, I eat a laddu. But even if I think that in the laddu there is happiness, and even little bit of happiness, or whatever, supposing someone gives it to me in an insulting way, then I won't get that. So my getting that, even that little bit of happiness from that laddu is conditioned by so many things. Now that really cannot give me any true fulfillment, as you said. So that's definitely not the eternal infinite happiness that we are talking about. Yeah? You are talking about a more lasting happiness. But that more lasting again is relative. One is a very fleeting one. Kuch khaya and aa gaya. That's a very, very fleeting one. Then you think, you've really helped someone, you've done something very nice and you feel so good inside you. It makes you feel a little more satisfied and happy, that. So that's more long lasting. But it's still again, relatively, again, next day morning you come up and find something which is not so good and you get upset about things. Isn't it true? So therefore, we're not talking about any conditioned happiness. This eternal and infinite happiness is unconditional happiness. That's what we're talking about.
Is that more of self-fulfillment?
Self-fulfillment would be like, ki chalo, I've done a good job of something. I've made everyone else happy. I've done all the duties of my life. So all these things give you a sort of true sense of achievement. Let's say I've done whatever I set out to do. So that gives you a relatively longer lasting happiness than just having a laddu. Yeah? But still.
If I never meet a person,
very good.
whenever I think of it, it makes me happy.
Very true.
But if I never had a cheesecake, it would only make me happy for that moment or a few minutes more. So, is that the real difference?
No, that's not still the difference. When I help someone, then every time I think of it, it'll happy. But again, it's conditioned by every time I have to think of it. Then only. You understand? If that thought doesn't come, again, I'm not going to be happy, right? So again, it's conditioned. This eternal and infinite happiness that we are talking of is unconditioned by any time, place, circumstance, or thought.
Can you give me a real example of what can someone do in that state?
Real life example, all of you, every day, are experiencing that eternal and infinite happiness when you go in your deep sleep state. Every one of you. There is no object, there is no laddu, there is no helping someone, there is no world, and yet you are happy. You don't want to come out of it.
But that only lasts for as long as
Exactly. That's why. That's the only thing that's the problem is that we are not able to this. But when I know it as my own true nature, irrespective of the time, place, circumstance, I can be in that. That's what I'm saying. But the experience of it, the example I gave you. Yeah.
I think that there should be unhappiness as well in this world, because it's a general human tendency that what we get, we sometimes don't value it if it's available.
See, worldly unhappiness is always in comparison with worldly happiness, okay? And happiness is in comparison with unhappiness. Unhappiness is in comparison. So in the world, yes, happiness, unhappiness, sukha, dukkha are called dvandva. Dvandva means the pairs of opposites. One cannot be known without the existence of the other. That's a fact. But in the worldly sense. That's why I'm talking about a happiness which is unconditioned by time, place, circumstance or anything. No comparison with happy or unhappy.
How can we achieve?
You already experience it in your deep sleep state. There's no comparison with happy, unhappy in that state, please. And it's got no degree. You cannot have, okay, one day my deep sleep state was bliss, second day not so. Nah. Every day that deep sleep state is as blissful, homogeneously so, no degrees at all. It's just one big state of happiness. No time, no space, no objects, no world, no relations, no emotions, nothing, and I'm still happy.
How can we use that? Because sometimes we can have the tools through which we are looking for achieving it. It might not be correct, the path may not be correct.
Very true. That's why yesterday I was talking, your ultimate goal that you have, your intermediate goals must be aligned to that so that you don't go the other way. So if your ultimate goal, you know what your ultimate goal is, then all other goals should be aligned in such a way that you would reach the ultimate goal. You know that to reach the ultimate goal, you will need a mind of a particular quality. Now what do? Many times we destroy this mind. We do really harm. We drink, we drug, we do everything, spoil this mind, and then we think we're going to reach there. Not a remote chance. Because this is that instrument that's going to go take us there. And you destroy that. You've just destroyed your chance of ever getting that eternal and infinite happiness.
So how do we know that we are on the right path?
That's why you need guidance many times. We need gurus, we need scriptures, we need all of that. This all thinking would not be there if I had not been talking to you right now, isn't it true? For every field of this, you need your teachers. But unfortunately, for spirituality, we think we are the best teachers. And we pick up books, this, that, and the other, get ourselves so confused. And then what do you mean by different kinds of faith?
We can have different kind of faith in everyone. How can we define that this faith is correct?
I don't understand different kinds of faith. Are you trying to say different religions or different? So then call different religions. You are talking about different religions, yeah?
How can we know that this faith is correct?
You're defining faith as I have understood and talked about faith, or you're talking about religions? There are different religions.
Yes.
So how do you know which religion is the right religion? Is that what you're saying?
This may be one of the
No. Let's not mix up the two words as faith and religion. If you think faith and religion are the same, then I will understand the question better, I'll be able to answer better. What exactly are you asking? Are you asking about different faiths?
Yeah.
And then what is faiths? Different what? I don't understand the word different faiths. Means what?
We also have the different kind of faiths and
Like what?
How can we know that this faith
No.
is correct?
You'll have to explain the word different faiths.
Every religion is like Buddha religion.
You're talking of different religions, sir. If you're talking different religions, let's talk of different religions.
Both reasons is that
So you're talking about
there
religions.
is no God.
Okay, you are talking about different.
That is God.
Right, you're talking about different religions. So you are asking there are different religions. Which religion is right? Isn't it true?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah. So now, I think it is better if you make an inquiry yourself. Because if I say something, you're going to say, she is fanatic because she thinks hers is the best. So I think it's better if you go and make a proper inquiry and find out which you think is the right one.
You have this type of experience.
No, I am going to say that I, through a lot of inquiry, have come to this, that this, what I believe in is right. But at the same time, I never dismiss other people's thoughts and their beliefs, because each one is going through different stages of life. And they have a right. I'll give you an example. A small little child, if it asks, how does it rain? So you give him a story, that there is this Airavata, this big white elephant in the heavens of Indra, and he puts his trunk in the ocean, and he picks up all the water, and he showers, and that's how you get. And this little 2-year-old is fascinated and says, wow, that's so great. Now, why did you tell him that? Because that's what you can't tell him evaporation and condensation and but that is the way you must understand, and that is the only way, and that is, you can't do that to that poor child. But when he grows up, he understands that what my mom was saying was not a lie. ऐरावत था वो भले, बट वो ही है कि समुद्र से पानी गया ऊपर और फिर क्या हुआ? But you gave it in the language of what? Airavata and everything. You understand? So therefore, I am not going to dispute anyone's belief in whatever they believe in. At the same time, I know what I know. Everyone has a right to their own beliefs. Yeah, now we have a session tomorrow also, all of you. What is the time of the session? 4 p.m. over here. Again, is it over here? Is it over here, Arago? Yeah. 4 p.m. over here, I will be talking and we will ask lots of questions. Last question. Okay? Okay?
Is that because I want to know there is a slope in Gita, I think nahi gyani chadrisha that's why we have seen the its meaning that is very simple. It means इस संसार में ज्ञान के समान पवित्र ज्ञान कुछ भी तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि वो जो हम पढ़ते हैं दैट इज बेसिकली इंफॉर्मेशन तो जिसको श्रीमद् भगवद गीता में ज्ञान कहा गया है व्हाट इज दैट
यही जो मैंने ज्ञान किया है अपने स्वरूप का ज्ञान
इससे मेरा दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये होता है कि एक लाइफ साइकिल है जैसे हमारे पास में 4 आश्रम में हम लोगों ने उम्र को बांधा तो उसमें संन्यास आश्रम हमने लास्ट में था तो जो जब हम उस परंपरा को फॉलो करते हैं तो बेसिकली हम जैसे मान लीजिए हम आज अपनी उस इंटरनल और हैप्पीनेस को फाइंड करने के लिए बैठ जाए तो जो जीवन का चक्र है वो कहीं ना कहीं डिस्टर्ब होता है मान लीजिए कि जैसे हम कहते हैं कि संन्यास में आप जाते हैं तो वो यात्रा सही होती है क्योंकि तब तक आप उस जीवन में जो कुछ इम्पॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि इस लाइफ को भी मीनिंगफुल ऊपर वाले ने अगर जीवन दिया है तो कुछ न कुछ सोचने में दिया है तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि हम उस इंटरनल हैप्पीनेस को फाइंड करते हैं ठीक है बट हमारे साथ में जैसे हम इंजीनियर्स हैं डॉक्टर्स हैं तो हमारे सोसाइटी के लिए भी हमारे काम है जो कि हमें करना चाहिए
बिल्कुल करना चाहिए प्लीज़ करो You should do it. I don't encourage anyone to become sannyasis. And अगर जो सन्यासी बनना चाहता है ना तो पूछता ही नहीं है और जो पूछता है ना करता नहीं है So that's why we don't tell anyone कि भाई आप सन्यासी बनो या ना बनो क्योंकि जो जिसको बनना है ना वो तो जाएगा ही जाएगा किसी को पूछेगा नहीं जगत की किसी का नहीं सुनेगा जगत के हज़ारों फोर्स भी आ जाएंगे और कहेंगे कि इसमें ये हैं नचिकेत को क्या न क्या दिया भगवान ने बोले तुमको राजा बना दूंगा मैं ये करूंगा वो बोले आप तवैव वाहस तव नृत्य गीत है आप अपने जो वाहन गीत आपके पास रखो मुझे जाना है तो एंड देखिए 4 आश्रम बताए हैं हमारे शास्त्र में ये भी कहा है कि ब्रह्मचर्य आश्रम के बाद में गृहस्थाश्रम करना चाहिए गृहस्थाश्रम के बाद में वानप्रस्थ और वानप्रस्थ के बाद में संन्यास बट विधि है यद अहरेव विरजेत तद अहरेव विरजेत अगर ब्रह्मचर्य आश्रम से सीधे संन्यास जाना है तो देयर इज़ शास्त्र में ही कहा है ऐसा नहीं कि सब ऐसे ही करके जाना है बट वापस नहीं आ सकते हैं दैट इज़ द ओनली थिंग फिर गृहस्थाश्रम से वानप्रस्थ पर वानप्रस्थ से वापस गृहस्थ नहीं बन सकते हैं आजकल वो करते हैं 80 साल में शादी करते हैं वापस और फिर संन्यास से वापस नहीं आ सकते यू कैन स्किप वन और द अदर बट यू कांट दैट्स नॉट अलाउड इन द स्क्रिप्चर्स बट यू कैन स्किप दैट्स अलाउड According to scriptures only it's allowed. Okay, I think we have our main purpose, as I had promised, that I was going to ask you, because a lot of them were asking who am I and all those questions, so I said I must deal with that. So tomorrow, if there's any particular one thing that you want me to talk about, I am open. I don't have a fixed this is only what I'm going to talk, or so if there's any particular thing that, can I have any wish list on your part that you want me to talk about? You want to talk about the mind? Shall we talk tomorrow exclusive about the mind? Is it okay, everyone? Yeah? I need to know, because I'm open to any suggestions. I have no fixed meditation is difficult because I'll have to explain the principles of meditation. I don't want to explain meditation in the random way that people are doing, and it's like meditation is not a झटका and a फटका, कि ऐसे कर दिया, ये लग गया, ऐसे हो गया, फड़ाम डुम हो गया, ऐसे कुछ नहीं होता है. करेंगे तो भी कुछ नहीं होगा. No. Everyone wants it to happen like that, कि बैठ गए and कुछ flash हो गया and something happened and all. नहीं होता ऐसे. So I would rather not give false hopes or false ideas or something which is I don't believe in. So I do have, okay, I can tell you, I have 3 courses which I do on a regular basis. In fact, one is called the Dharma Seva course, which I do every year, July, August. The course that I did was a 2-year course in the ashram in Bombay. But the same 2-year course, we have compressed it for the sake of everyone who cannot take 2 years off into a 6 weeks course. It happens in July, August. For those of you who are available for a course like that, and it gives a very systematic understanding of the entire way of life in Sanatana Dharma. What I did exactly in 2 years is what we are giving in this 6 weeks. It's called the Dharma Seva course. Mid-July to end of August is the normal time I have it. The second course that I am doing is for people who have already studied Vedanta and want a little more knowledge of Vedanta, a little deeper understanding of Vedanta. Then I have a course called Vedanta Darshan, which will happen next year, mid-Feb to mid-March. And I'm going to take a text called Ashtavakra Gita, which is considered quite a very nice text in Vedanta. And every year, because meditation is the in thing, and everyone wants meditation, and it's a very powerful, this. So I take a meditation demystified camp, which is a 6 days, and that would be quite convenient to people, the students of IIT, because you all have a holiday in December, I'm told, and this is from the 9th to the 14th of December this year. So if anyone wants to know about that as well, so you all can, I think some information is available at the bookstore for all the 3 courses. If anyone is interested, or anyone knows of anyone who is interested and would like to pass this knowledge, because I have seen that these courses work very well, because then you're doing it systematically, you're going through it, and you're going through a lifestyle of conducive to that as well. Otherwise what happens is, you listen to all this, you go into something which is completely, you don't even have time to really reflect on what I have spoken. Isn't it true? Now you'll go back right there and you'll go into something different world altogether. And what I spoke is going to go right out of your minds, So then these things need to get absorbed, need to be reflected upon, need to get, slowly into your psyche, and you start really, making it your knowledge. As long as that knowledge remains someone else's, you can't live it. This is what I believe in. None of us can live someone else's knowledge. We can only live our knowledge. So unless it becomes my knowledge, I can't live it. Yeah, so anything I spoke today, like I am infinite and all that is not going to have, it will have an effect that intellectually, yeah, you can appreciate it or something like that. But until unless I internalize it, I make it my knowledge and my conviction, I won't be able to live my life according to that. Yeah. So that's extremely important. So this gives a chance for doing that. So if anyone wants to take a sabbatical or you've finished one course, I always tell people, especially the Dharma Sevak course, for people who have finished their studies and not got into a job yet, take a break at that time. Don't go into straight, because everyone's so much interested, job lena hai, ye karna hai. You never take that break in life. Or you finished your one job, you still not got into another job, take that break. It's important to understand, review your life, look into things, pause a bit, explore a bit, understand yourself a bit, where you've gone, where you want to go, things like that. Otherwise it's like, they're all held in Coimbatore. I personally take these courses. All these courses are taken by me, personally. So you could come. There are many other courses of the Chinmay Mission as well. We have online fantastic courses. One very much recommended course is the Bhagavad Gita online course. It's really very nice. You can go on the Chinmay Mission website. Then you have what is called the Chinmay International Foundation, which is a research wing of the Chinmay Mission. And they're doing amazing work, just unbelievable research work, fundamental research work in Vedanta. And they have an online basic Vedanta course, advanced Vedanta course, and another very, very good course is the Bhagavad Gita online course. It's really a very good course. You'll get it online, you can read it, you can understand it, you can answer it. You can just go on the mission website, Chinmay Mission website, and I think you'll find a lot of things of interest to you. Thank you all very much, and we'll end our session today. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.